Sherry, have you ever worked with a brand that doesn't offer support like promotions or sales ideas?
I have, and it's so annoying.
Right? But that's not the case with Northwest Naturals.
Along with the support I've experienced personally from Northwest Naturals over the past 20 years, Carly and I keep hearing over and over about the outstanding retailer support they offer.
Yes, it is totally true. From in-store promotion to hands-on business building, they've got Indie's backs.
Because when our businesses thrive, so do the pets we serve.
And that's why Northwest Naturals puts retailers first.
Find out more at nw-naturals.net.
And right now, Northwest Naturals is offering an extra 5% on Gap ISOs for current clients, plus an extra 5% on any new ISO for new clients.
Just use promo code PetShopGirls.
Pet Shop Girls, the voice of the indie, the heart of the trade. Pet Shop Girls, unleash your power, let's make some waves.
Welcome back to the Pet Shop Girls podcast. We've got a special guest today.
Santa Bob is coming to town. Santa Bob is coming to
Nice.
town.
I love it. That's a good one. I like that. So the holidays are here. And if you're feeling the crunch, you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're super excited to have back on the amazing Bob Negen, co-founder of Whizbang Retail Training. Bob has spent decades helping independent retailers thrive with practical, proven strategies. He's known for turning overwhelmed store owners into confident, profitable retailers. And he's especially famous for helping them make the most of the holiday season.
Yes, and today Bob is going to share some of his best last-minute holiday hacks, whether we're talking about merchandising shortcuts, promotions that really work, any way to boost your sales. Because if you've been in retail long enough, you know that the holiday season starts September 1st. We're back in it. So we want to be able to wow your customers and keep your sanity during the busiest time of the year. So welcome back to the show, Bob Negen.
Well, Carly and Sherry, it's always my pleasure and honor to be here. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, we love sharing your knowledge with our pet pros because though you are Whizbang Retail, and in your name it says retail, retail doesn't necessarily have to mean a brick and mortar store. Retail is any form of selling. So that's where I think you bring so much to the table, Bob, because whether you, and I mean, I tell business owners this all the time. I'm like, listen, I know you're not in traditional retail, but Bob Negen would still have wisdom for you. And so let me tell you something I learned from Bob. And yeah, like, I mean, everybody can use it. So I would say, because we're talking about our last minute holiday hacks,
Yes.
We do still have some time before the holidays, and maybe some of our retailers are feeling a little behind the eight ball here, going, holy crap, the holidays are sneaking up on me. Yep.
Last year, I felt like I was behind the wave, like the whole time. So I
Yes.
want to help people get ahead of the wave.
Yeah.
That's great.
If you think back to your retail days, Bob, when you were the guy in the brick and mortar, what is that kind of holiday hack that you learned the hard way, a mistake or a disaster that ended up teaching you something valuable?
I was going to say, we got a couple of days to go here. Well, and it's interesting because as I shared with you before we started, I just recorded Holiday University, which is an online course. I used to do it live. Now it's a course that anybody can buy on Retail Brilliance, retailbrilliance.com. So all of this is fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
But the thing that the most important thing that I tell our clients and that I'm sharing with your listeners is the importance of a deep bench.
Mm-hmm.
I was just having a conversation with a client, and he said, "Well, I got a pretty good team right now. It's a little short." And I was like, "Todd, right now you need to start recruiting because as somebody who cares about your success, I would much rather see you have too many people, have to schedule people a few less hours each." But have that bench, have that cushion, because we don't know what COVID's going to be. We don't know what the flu season's going to be. And you want to ruin your holiday season? Have your entire team be out with COVID or the flu the 2 weeks before the holidays. You know, it'll decimate your sales. So, you know, and there's another reason to start building your bench early, and that's to train them early. So, you know, when we teach training, you know, there's 3 parts to any good training program. One is policy and procedures, so they know how to operate in your store. You know, where do you park? Well, you know, how do you request time off? How do you count down the bank? What's our return policy? You know, everything they need to know to be confident when they're on your floor selling. And then there's product knowledge. And so if you're bringing in new part-time seasonal people, they need to know. I mean, they won't know everything. They'll never have the depth of nutritional knowledge that the two of you have, but they need to know the basics. And they also need to know that they can't lie to your customers.
Yes.
That's, you know,
new hires that don't ask questions is a red flag.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you know, what they're probably doing when you're not watching is making up an answer.
Yep.
Am I right? So
that's my worst pet peeve. I hate that.
Absolutely. So, you know, you need to give them permission. Hey, I'm going to train you on best sellers. This is what you're going to spend most of your time talking about during the holidays. But if you know, this will get you 70% of the way there. But if there's a question that somebody asks and you don't know, please find somebody else. You need to give them permission.
Yes.
Because people, if they don't have permission, they often are hesitant to make a mistake. They're hesitant to look stupid, so they don't do anything.
Yep.
And then the third part of it, so product training, you know, just that basic training on your products, and then sales training. You know, we've talked about this in the past. You know, your best salespeople are bringing in a lot more money, and that becomes accentuated during the holidays.
Exactly.
Because so if your listeners want to know a little holiday hack, here it is: show until they say no.
Yeah.
You have a pet parent in there and they're having a great time shopping. Keep showing, right?
Yeah.
Just add on.
Yeah.
So, you know, selling is a skill. And if you don't give people the skill, you can't expect them to be successful. So those are the 2 main. Start recruiting now. You can, and let's go back to a tip about that. I'm sort of all over the place here today. I apologize. When we talk about recruiting for the holidays, the first place I would start is with ex-employees because they already know most of your stuff. And I learned this the hard way. One day, I was getting ready for the holiday season. I said, I think I'll call this kid Nick, right? I see if he, you know, he's coming back home from college. See if he wants to work during the holidays. So I called him up and he said, Bob, I'm so glad you called. I was just thinking about where I was going to apply for jobs. He didn't even realize that we had part-time seasonal jobs during the holidays.
Yeah.
So you have this whole backbench of people who probably need a little extra money for the holidays, want to get a discount on your products, you know, all the things. So start there. Hires your part-time seasonal people. Understand a couple of them aren't going to wash out. Train them. And you are going to, I guarantee it's going to lead to a better holiday season.
I'm going to add one caveat to your recommendation to phone ex-employees because I do like that. But the caveat is make sure they were good ex-employees.
And left on good terms, yes.
Yes. I guess that was assumed, yeah. Remember when I fired you 2 years ago? Yeah.
If you end up with a shallow bench, then your mom and all her cronies are going to be coming in to help you run the store. And that's probably not going to
I thought it was interesting that you said, do they know where to park? And that seems so simple, yet you have to tell them because I've had people just park right in front of the store.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, let's revisit this.
This is really, you know, so this is why you have training. And this is so important, Sherry. I'm so glad that you brought that up because we all assume that people think the way that we think.
Yeah.
You intuitively go, hey, that spot is for the customer. But just because you think that intuitively doesn't mean that somebody else is.
Yeah.
So one of our clients, so you both know that you can build your own training program on our Retail Brilliance platform.
Yeah.
And one of our clients has got 8 stores, and we had a good chuckle about it because one day she's in a conversation, she said, all I'm doing for the next 2 weeks is I'm going into each of my stores and talking about everything. This, because you make it with a video. This is where the stereo is. Turn it up to 7.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that somebody's going to ask a question about can be put into a training program. And then they're not constantly pestering you and your key employees to learn what to do. So that whole idea of don't assume that they're going to have common sense. Common sense is not common. And they may have common sense. It may just differ from the way that you view things.
Well, and speaking of common sense, because this is a good one, Bob, if you go back to your younger retail self, so bright, shiny Bob who just opened his kite store and he's going to conquer the world with kites, what's kind of that one piece of holiday advice that he didn't know, but you know now and you would tell him?
Bundles and signage.
Okay.
Signage.
Bundles and signage. So signage is a secret salesperson.
Yeah.
And the format is really simple. You should have a headline that shows a real quick benefit. Great gift for teenagers, or great gift, in your case, great gift for great stocking stuffer for a cat, great gift for a big dog, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then the price. And, and you just do those things. And then on the bottom, tell a little story, so you were just talking about, House of Paws, the treats are our customers' favorites, or, just a little something that intrigues them. So what it is, how much it costs, and a little something about it. Make your signs professional. And so signage does 2 things that are very interesting. One is, it is a silent salesperson. And so much of what you sell, isn't a commodity, but is a commodity. I go up and there's a wall full of toys and, there's no technical, perhaps there's a little technical information, but basically it's a commodity, right? And so the signage makes it more than that. The signage makes the product come alive, and it will sell stuff. I mean, signage sells stuff, particularly signage with stocking stuffers. You should sign all of your stocking stuffers. Another reason that signage is so important is during the holidays, typically you have more customers in your store than you have team members to serve them. Mm-hmm. So the challenge is to slow them down. Mm-hmm. Right? The challenge is to get them in the store more so that your team members have a chance to get to them.
Let me ask you this then with regards to signage, Bob, and considering the demographic of young shoppers today and their affinity for technology, what do you think about signage that directs that user to a QR code that maybe is taking this information that you're talking about, great gift for big dogs, great gift for cats, here's the price, you want to see why we love this, or do you want to hear the story, and a QR code, and maybe it's a video? Or
I love that.
Okay, cool.
I love that. I mean, we used to have a lot of screens, that's before QR codes, of course, but we used to have a lot of screens, and anything that you put on the screen, you're going to sell more of.
Yeah.
That is one of my goals this year, is to put more I want the screens. I want to bypass the QR code.
Go directly to the screen.
Yeah, well, but now, so this isn't an either or; it's an and. You can have more screens and have signage with a QR code.
Yeah,
because you won't be able to feature most of your products on the screens. You just want to feature, best sellers, most popular, highest margin.
How to use a product is what I want to put on some of them.
So you want more kind of educational.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or informational.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, Sherry, I just saw a stat that blew my mind, and it's about poop bags. Can you believe 500 million poop bags per year end up in the landfill worldwide?
That's crazy, Carly. But that's why I love Greenline poop bags. They're the only poop bags that have been tested and proven to break down even in landfills, not on your shelf.
Right? I hate when poop bags expire. Like, what? Greenline delivers premium pet products without the premium price tag because toilet paper for tails should break down, not break the bank.
And get this, they have poop bag holders that are handmade from upcycled old festival banners that are one-of-a-kind pieces of art. You'll love them as soon as you see them. Talk about zero waste and real creativity.
Ugh, and I love that. They're functional, beautiful, and sustainable. And every purchase gives back. Greenline is a member of 1% for the Planet and donates 1% of every sale to real grassroots nonprofits protecting our planet.
So every roll you sell or every pouch you stock, you're giving Mother Earth a little hug. Greenline Pet Supply, eco-savvy products for pets and their planet-loving parents.
Learn more about this amazing woman-owned U.S. company making the greenest poop bag on the planet by visiting greenlinepetsupply.com.
And don't forget to mention promo code PetShopGirls for 10% off your first order. Okay, I really wanted to ask you this one. I came up with this question right before we jumped on. But
All right.
I'm always hearing how nostalgia sells. And I know you know that works, but what are some ways that pet retailers can apply this theory to the holiday season?
You stumped me.
Oh, what? Okay, well, Bob, I'm going to give you some time to think about that, and I'm going to...
Before we go
Thanks for tuning in.
I'm going to say, you're here, Bob. Give me the hook. But explain what you mean by nostalgia a little more.
What I'm more referring to, especially like my age demographic, anything from the 80s and 90s is hot. Like it,
right?
You know, so if you have something with a Game Boy on it, or like a Beanie Baby type thing, and I think that's why Labubus are so big right now.
When we talk about that, that's really about products. About finding products that bring things around.
I feel like there's a way you can make an experience of it, though, and I've really been trying to wrap my head around it. So
I'm gonna sort of push back on that. I mean, I'm all about marketing. I'm all about events, even in the heat of the holidays. But when I look at the holidays and I look how busy it's going to be, I would stay really, really focused on the fundamentals. And don't get me wrong, Sherry, I think it's a great idea. But what I would ask you to consider is, rather than doing that during the holidays when people have to buy, I would introduce that outside of the holidays when people don't have to buy. So that, it's something that might have a little more juice that might get lost in the holidays in a packed store. I was in the kite business, in the toy business, and man, oh man, our stores were filled with people. So,
well, something just came to my head. What about like writing a letter to Santa, that whole thing?
Well, sure. So, in fact, one of our Platinum Mastermind Group members has a pet store in Los Alamos, New Mexico, and she went and she bought a really nice, high quality mailbox. Santa mailbox, and put it outside her store and asked people to, and then just made a big campaign around, bring your letter to Santa to Pet Pangea. And then she and volunteers hand wrote a note to everybody who did that. I don't know that it drove sales, but it certainly created goodwill.
Bob, I'm gonna level that up to show you how it drives sales. Okay. Because one of the items that we have available in our paid Substack form, and by the way, all of our pet pros, everything that we're talking about here with Bob, if you're not part of our Substack, this will all become part of the the playbook, the Santa Bob holiday hack playbook. And so you're going to see how to execute all of these things. One of the things that we've put together for our Substack listeners is called the Santa Paws service. Bob, you would love this. It is all about how to make your customer the holiday hero. So it's the Santa Paws service that we as the pet store will deliver, but it makes the customer the holiday hero. That letter to Santa Paws, how I'm going to level it up is you basically create a form that is the letter that the customer fills out. You guarantee that every pet that submits their letter to Santa Paws gets a reply from Santa Paws within 24 hours. You include the gift card or coupon to the pet's ideal, gift that he wants to see under the tree.
Right.
And that should then drive the sales.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I love it. And the only thing that I would say to that, I absolutely love it, Carly. Nicely done. The only thing that I would say is I would not send a coupon. I would only send a gift certificate or a gift card. But you guys know that's how I feel about things.
I know that the coupon, I know that I just swore in your face when I said that. But so I at 1 year, I did try. I was trying to do this whole letter to Santa Paws thing, but I was doing it with the kids because I'm like, well, the dog can't write a letter. So the more I thought about it, I'm like, the pet parent can.
But see, adults want that nostalgia is what I'm saying.
There you go. Okay. So then they get that letter. And the only reason that I was saying a coupon, Bob, is or a discount code. I'm going to say a discount code or a gift card. But my intention with this particular holiday event will be that it is an electronic form. And so they're going to fill out the form because the other thing that I want for them to do is share that story. So they screenshot their letter to Santa and then they share it on their Instas or they share it wherever. And then Santa Paws is going to send them back a promo code to shop for that item on my website.
Nice.
Right?
All right.
So, yeah, that's...
Have you done that before, or are you just going to do it this year?
First time this year. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. I look forward to hearing how it goes.
I will. Included in the Santa Paws service playbook is how to track the metrics. So we will know how good it is.
All right.
Okay. So I guess, we're going to get back into our holiday hacks. And you were kind of talking about this before, Bob. We've talked about a short bench and having a long bench or a deep bench is important. You're talking about all the hustle and bustle. You're talking about you should have more customers than staff. Burnout is real. Holiday burnout is even more real. So what's one kind of unexpected way to keep staff and yourself as the pet pro or the store owner, the energy and the morale up during that holiday rush?
It's a great question. I learned this from Marie Foley, who is the most enthusiastic person I know, and she schedules breaks.
Oh.
She schedules breaks, and it doesn't make any difference how busy the store is. They have to leave the store for 15 minutes. Every shift, because, and it's true, because all of a sudden you become overwhelmed. Another thing that leads to burnout is all the things that are annoying, right? Customers are annoying. You get people who are not happy, all of these things. And so there's two techniques, and I might have shared them with you here on your podcast.
Q-tip?
Q-tip, and the next one?
Yes. And I can't remember what it is.
All right. Good. Bam.
Right.
Bam. Okay. So these are two ways to reduce stress, and not to solve problems, but to make those annoyances go away. And BAM is an acronym for breathe, acknowledge, move on.
Right.
Q-tip is a acronym for quit taking it personally.
Right.
And if you make this part of your team's language, then, when somebody goes into the back room and they're pulling their hair out, bam, or Q-tip, it just becomes, it's a little anchor that you can all share with each other. They can share with you, that brings them back to the fact that It's okay. The other thing that I think is really important is this recognition that you are there for the customer. So I used to always tell my team, when you hit the lease line, everything that happens outside of this store goes away.
Mhm.
You have, when you come into this store, your job, your opportunity, the thing that to be grateful for is you have an opportunity to make people happy, to make their days, and just be grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah.
To just embrace the busyness, all of those things, and then of course pizzas, snacks,
Yeah.
food, keep people hydrated. Something I always did too is I paid for flu shots and paid
Yeah.
for their time if they got flu shots.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want my people to have the flu.
For sure.
I don't want them to have COVID. Right?
Yeah.
I want them to be healthy.
That's what I was just thinking, Bob. You're a retailer who is making their employees leave the store for 15 minutes. In a Saskatchewan winter, I might get fined for that, They got nowhere to go. They're just standing outside in -50.
Their breath is going out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eyelashes are frozen together.
Do you see where that could be helpful? And I asked her about it. So I said, Marie, when your store is packed, and she said it doesn't make any difference, and people know because to your point, it gets really, really busy. It gets really, really intense, and knowing that that's coming up gives you something to look forward to.
It's a good decompression. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about what's the most unusual promotion or display you've ever seen that worked surprisingly well.
Most unusual. I've seen great store windows, promotions. I don't know whether you would call this a promotion, but we used to sell this thing called Darta cars. And Darta cars was a little wind up car, and you'd wind up back and forth, and it would build up the energy, and you'd let it go, and it would zoom around this track. And my dad, who was a preacher and who loved kids and kids loved him, would sit there all day long and demo Darta cars. And the point there is, he didn't do anything else, but he sold so many Darta cars at $49.99. We had one person who basically all they did was run Darta cars back and forth to my dad, Gord, right? So I don't know if you would consider that a promotion as much as a selling tactic.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah.
And we used to have, we had game tables in our store, and we would always, on the busy Saturdays, we would have people designated trainers. So, I would sit in front of the Quarto game, and anybody would walk by. I would say, would you like to learn how to play this game? Boom. People would stop. I'd teach them. I mean, we didn't play Risk. We played games that you can
tic-tac-toe.
teach it a little bit. But that's sort of
like demo areas throughout the store.
Yes, demo areas. So I was trying to think about what you asked me just a little bit. I'll share a great one with you that's so counterintuitive. I don't know why I didn't think of this right away. It's called the Holiday Preview Sale.
Okay.
Now, Brother Steve and I created the Holiday Preview Sale, and it's being used by clients all over the world. We have I have a coaching client who has 60 stores in Hungary, and it's one of his biggest 2-weekend stretches, just selling shoes in Hungary. But the Holiday Preview Sale is typically 2 weekends at the end of October, beginning of November. Some people make it 3 weekends, but what you do is you have a store-wide sale that's 20% off the first weekend up until Friday, and then 15% off the next weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday. Now, here's the backstory to the Holiday Preview Sale. Steve and I had moved from a tourist mall to downtown because we wanted to get into the toy business. We're in the we needed a good downtown location to have a toy store. And unfortunately, it was October, beginning of October, and we didn't have any cash. And we knew we needed to bring in holiday goods, but we didn't know how were we going to do it. We didn't have any cash. We didn't have any credit. We didn't have any money, right? So we decided we had to have a store-wide sale to generate cash. And we were really, really nervous about this sale. We thought it was going to cannibalize our holiday sale. We thought everybody was going to shop and then never come back. It just seemed counterintuitive to put your store on sale right before everybody's going to come and shop anyway. Well, we did it, and it was an absolutely fantastic success. And here are the benefits, and here's why I encourage all of our retailers to do it. So the first thing is a giant shot of cash early in the season. I mean, you're going to do big, big, big numbers. Number two, people are in your store early. So I have this concept called holiday share. So Sherry, if you're going to spend $100 at the holidays and I get 30 of those dollars, I consider that 30% holiday share. I'm getting that percentage of your holiday spend. So by doing it early, we were getting more holiday share from our customers.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
This was when Black Friday was just starting to be a big deal. And Steve and I are feeling really smart. We're going Black Friday. We've already been at this for 3 weeks. They got nothing on us, right? The third big benefit is that you really get to identify the slow movers and the best sellers. Because as you do this year after year, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until, like my brother Steve, who still does it 40 years later, his holiday preview sale is as big as the week before Christmas.
Wow.
So he's doing enough volume to be able to spot trends. So, it's the holidays. You think this is going to be the greatest thing. So you load up on this blue widget. Turns out blue isn't hot. Pink is hot. And so all of a sudden, by the time the holiday preview sale is done, you now say, wait a second. Okay, I'm going to put it on special. I'm going to mark it down. I'm going to feature it. I'm going to put it into a bundle, but I'm going to get rid of the slow movers and reinvest that cash into best sellers. So by the time Thanksgiving comes around, your merchandise mix is really dialed in for the holidays.
How? Okay, so when that's a store-wide sale for a pet retailer who sells food,
You'd have to eliminate food.
You may have to. In general, I don't like putting caveats on things, but you're in a different business. Mm-hmm. So you could say, because otherwise people will come in
and just buy the food.
Buy a year's worth of food just buy the food.
Yeah.
But now let me challenge this. I mean, and I know your margins are super skinny on food, but if I came in and bought 6 months worth of food, you have that sale, you have that money. No?
So the only thing that I'm thinking from my own personal experience is when we first implemented our fifth Saturdays, we did the 20% off anything that fits in the bag, but we were very generous. So it didn't matter if it fit in the bag or not. We did 20%. Right. And the first problem that happened, again, I'm a tiny little boutique with not a lot of back storage. So the shelves are full and we've got a little bit of back storage. What would happen is customers would flood the store at the beginning of the day. Our shelves were empty by 1 p.m. Awesome.
Wow.
But we don't have food for 3 days now because we have to wait for the order to come.
Right.
So we upset customers because now they can't get the same deal as everybody else because they weren't here at 11:01.
Yeah.
And the customers that we did see in that first kind of 2 hours of the day, we didn't see for months because they just loaded up so much that we don't.
We limited it to 2 bags on Fifth Saturday, 2 bags of food.
Yes. So, and I'm gonna sort of challenge that 2 bags and challenge that 1. So Did you guys know Lewis and Jill from the Pet Bistro?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lewis and Jill, they had their bags custom made.
Yep.
And the bag was custom made, so a small bag of dog food was all that would fit in the bag.
Yeah.
Now, when people say, can I have an exception? They usually do the nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I'll let you get away with it this time, but not next time. But that's how they got around that. They built the bag specifically for a small bag because you're right. If you let people buy 20% off store wide, you're still in the spirit of the promotion, but you're really, because you're not doing it to sort of the letter of the law, you are hurting your margins that way.
Yeah. Well, we did, and I mean, I had already designed my bags, and my intention when I designed them initially was we're going to be generous. And
Right.
so I would say that a medium bag would fit, but large boxes of raw fit in my bag. They hold 50 pounds.
Our issue was that
Right.
some people were like cramming 6 bags of food and it didn't actually fit, but they were breaking my bag.
Right,
geez.
right.
Like they got aggressive, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we got to limit this.
We,
you know?
what we did is, and I mean, so we still allow 20% off one item of food. And then we do double stamps on all the rest. And there's 20% off everything else that will fit in your bag. But we were honest with our customers. Like we said, here's the problem. If you didn't get here in the first 2 hours, you didn't get anything. So these sales weren't benefiting all of the people that we were trying to reward by being loyal customers. So we wanted to restrict it so that everybody got a chance to at least, and some people were like, yeah, you're right. Like I always got here at 3 and the shelves were empty.
Right.
I'm like, I know.
Right.
So those people appreciated it. The people that were like, there right at 11 o'clock, they're like, this is garbage. I want my 10 bags back at 20% off.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, no. So, and the thing is too, what happened with a lot of our customers when we went to the Fifth Saturday is, and still to this day, we only see them on Fifth Saturday sales. And that was not the intention of the promotion.
So just a second. Let's
Tell me the things, Bob, because this part bugs me.
So let's talk about this. I was just going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back to 2 things here. So the first thing, Sherry, when you said that they come in and you don't see them again for months. Here's the thing that it took me years to recognize, but that I hope that your listeners go, oh, because once I had that oh moment, it made sense.
Okay.
In every customer base, there are bottom feeders.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when you think about an aquarium, I don't have aquariums, but I've seen enough aquariums that you have the little carps down there with their lips going blah, 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 blah.
The catfish and the plecos, yeah.
Sucking up all the crap, right? And I had that same thing because we sold high-end toys, Brio, Playmobil, and it used to make me so mad that the only time I saw those people was when we were having a clearance sale. And then one day I realized that those people are the carps of my customer base. They're the bottom feeders.
Yeah.
And then I went from what are you doing? You're taking advantage of me to you are a valuable part of our business. And then once I shifted my mindset, then I started to think about it. It's like we sell expensive goods that they may not be able to, that they might not be able to afford to if they bought full price.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're here buying from us now, be grateful for every single customer who comes in. And so, Sherry, yes, they may load up and leave when you have these sales, but you're making an assumption that they would buy from you if they didn't buy it from you on sale.
Yeah.
And I think that assumption is not necessarily a correct assumption.
No, I totally get it. And I love that mindset shift because I have had people come in and I didn't have a sale running and they're like,
Right.
okay. And then they walk out.
Yeah.
Right. And so this was the other thing that I was going to talk about. I'm sorry. Carla, you clearly have something to say. But this is an important thing, too. You were leaning into the camera.
Oh, I was paying attention, Bob. Sherry, as pet parents, we've all had that fear. What if our dog eats something they shouldn't? Like, chocolate or grapes or even a bottle of human meds left on the counter.
Exactly. It's happened to me. And that's where Ready Rescue comes in. It's the first of its kind, vet designed at home solution for accidental pet poisonings. Something that's truly revolutionizing what pet stores can offer.
And that's huge because until now, pet parents had no real tool that they could keep at home. Everything was messy, bulky, or only available at the vet. But Ready Rescue changes that. It's clean, it's easy to give, and it's designed to buy life-saving time on the way to the clinic.
And it's not just on retail shelves. Over 200 veterinary hospitals already trust Ready Rescue in clinic. That credibility makes it a no-brainer for stores.
Exactly. Like, think of it like a fire extinguisher for toxins, like something you hope your customers never need it, but when they do, it could save a life. And every modern pet store should carry it.
Stocking Ready Rescue puts your store on the cutting edge of pet wellness. To order wholesale today, visit www.getreadyrescue.com and use promo code PetShopGirls for 10% off your first order plus free shipping.
Sorry, my Canadian friends. This is for new U.S. customers only for now. But if you're a retailer, this is a product you'll want on your shelves.
Never let an incident create a customer unfriendly policy that punishes the many for the bad behavior of the few.
Yeah.
And sort of a corollary to that is understanding the difference between an incident and a problem. Because we're human beings and we take things personally.
Yeah.
Even though Q-tip, you shouldn't take things personally. But when somebody comes in and says, oh, nothing's on sale, and then leaves, you right away go, oh, I've got a problem. Something needs to be done with this. And it's, an incident is something that happens once or once every once in a while. A problem. So if Sherry, if two people a day were coming in and doing that to you, I'd call it a problem. If one person every couple of weeks or once a month comes in and do you, you've got a series of incidents.
Yeah.
And, it frees you up mentally to go, okay, that person's a knucklehead. You know?
It was, and I completely understand. Like I agree with you, Bob, that there's the clearance section where I have customers that are like, that's their beeline. Absolutely.
I need somebody to buy it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
I love the carp for that. Where when they weren't carp, they were great whites. They were in my store weekly. Yeah, and then all of a sudden we rolled out the Platinum Paws Club with the fifth Saturday and they went from weekly to every 3 months. And I'm like, what? So anyways.
And that's why you have to limit the size and the amount of the transaction.
Yeah.
So
and because when they do come, they're loading up for 3, 4, 5 months. I did have one customer say to me too, she came in on the 1/5 Saturday and she's like, this should last me about 3 months. And I'm like, yeah, and it was kibble. And I'm like, why are you buying kibble for 3 months? I want you to use this in 28 days. She goes, because your next sale isn't for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So you know what? It happens, but
yes. So, and let's talk about something else, because let's go back to this idea that we're all human and that, and especially in retail, you deal with so many people. Independent retail is probably the most human business there is, right? I mean, you're working with people face to face every single day. And, there's going to be people who drive you crazy, and you just have to sort of understand that, let it go, trust in the best in people, and understand that there's going to be a couple knuckleheads who are going to take advantage of the situation. But as long as your perspective, WWMCW, what would my customer want? Is if you come at your business from a love your customer, the money will follow, trust your customers, the money will follow. You will have people that will occasionally take advantage of you. But if you look at it from strictly a dollar and cents perspective, the amount of business you will do because you attract the right kind of customers will far outweigh the amount that it costs you by those knuckleheads taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you know what here, Bob? This is how we sum this up. We need every crayon in the box to draw the big picture.
That's exactly right. The good one. All right, Carly. That's right. That's
okay,
right.
I want to, I might have a little bit of an infatuation with social media, a little bit.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So I'm wondering, Bob, if in your opinion, how important do you think it is for our retailers to be using, well, anybody who sells anything, service or product,
Right.
using their social media over the holidays? Because I know that most people are like, I don't have time when it's not the holidays. And now the holidays are here. I've got even less time. What is your opinion on kind of how important it is to use social media and a great tip to improve their ROI? Because I think that's the tick off, right? Where they're like, I spend all this time and nothing happens, so why bother? And then they don't. And let's talk.
Yes. So the frequency of posts and whether it should be reels and how long the reels are, all those tactical things I'd rather not weigh in on. But here's what you want to do. But I will weigh on this idea that you want to stay in front of your customers and you want them to see you, and you want them to see you in a positive light, because people are buying at the holidays. So the holidays, in fact, in Holiday U, this is what I talked about. It's the holidays. They're shopping now.
Yep.
You need to market your business now because everybody's attention is being pulled in 1,000 different ways.
Yes.
So I absolutely agree with you.
I was going to ask, do you think it's worth a retailer's time to create a holiday gift guide, like a nice, pretty one that you would post online?
We did.
Without clickable links.
Without clickable. Why would you not have clickable links?
I just shook like a dog to say no.
Because it takes a lot of extra time.
Well, I'm going to tell you why I'm shaking my head to that, Sherry, is because my tip would be when it comes to social selling over the holidays, because essentially that's what we're doing, even though you still want to maintain that kind of 80-20, 80% give, 20% sell. But at the end of the day, if I'm telling you, here's the absolute best chew for your dog, the easiest way that I can avoid the noise and grab some of your attention, because there's so much noise, is by making it as easy as possible for you to shop. And that means a link. So if I'm...
Now, if a retailer didn't have time to do all that or didn't know how to do it, would creating a holiday gift guide be worth their time?
So let's go back. So we're talking about a couple of different things here. So let's finish up with social media, then come back to the holiday gift guide. So no, that's okay. That's okay.
She's just chomping at the bit.
We have three people who got things to say here. This is awesome. I love it. So I love having a presence. And, to everybody who's listening, you can only do what you can do. Now, not doing it because you're overwhelmed I could contend and argue that it's not really a good excuse for not doing the things that are important. But so, just maybe scheduling your posts ahead of time. Maybe one of our clients who has a pet store, she has a customer who comes in and does all her posts, right? So you can find one of the mistakes that people make, particularly smaller, newer retail businesses, is this: if I don't do it, it can't get done mentality. Mm-hmm. And when you have that mentality, when you're not willing to delegate or hire out, what happens is that activities that have a great ROI don't get done. And that's a problem, because any activity that has a good ROI, you should find a way to do it, whether that means hiring somebody. You don't say, oh, I got to pay $100 a week for this person to do my social media. You don't think of it as $100 if you realize $500 is going to come into your door because of it.
Yeah.
So that is what I would say to that. if you find it valuable, and I do, and you do, start to think about how you can do it. We talked about having a deep bench, but now is the time to start building your marketing plan. Now is the reason that we did Holiday U in September is so that people could start building their marketing plan, could start planning their posts, could start training their people, could start, to your point, Sherry, get in front of all of these things. So now, having said that, having enough posts are wonderful and all those things. But the thing that I really recommend when you asked about ROI is going live. Mm-hmm. It is so easy. You can go live before the store is open. You can go live with a customer. I mean, I love customer generated content. If somebody comes in and says, "Oh, my dog loves that, blah, blah, blah," say, "Hey, would you like going live?" You would be amazed at how many people would absolutely love to go live. You could put a step and repeat in your store, and then people come in and they take pictures and selfies on your step and repeat. And that's another way to get that traction without doing that work. Yeah. But so if I was a retailer, if I was a pet retailer during the holidays, I would post, I would listen to your advice about how often to post, but I would absolutely send one email every week, and I would go live at least once a week, probably two.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did kind of a spin on our lives and a spin on your 12 days of holidays or 12 days of Christmas.
12 days of Christmas, yeah.
So what we did last year is I donned the Santa mask.
There you go.
I used a Santa voice filter. And but what I did was the 5 days of Santa deals or the 5 secret Santa savings or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we saw, and I sent an email a day. So the video got posted to our socials, and it also went out in an email every day with the secret Santa savings sale or whatever I called it. And after I scheduled all those emails, I looked at my store manager. I'm like, oh my God, that really feels like an abuse of an email list. But I'm like, I guess we'll see what happens. I couldn't believe how many sales we made.
No. So good. I'm so glad we're having this conversation too, because too many people think the way that you're thinking right now, Carly, that if I mail too much, I am abusing the relationship. And it is true if you mail too much.
Sales.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But if you're sending something that's valuable or interesting, there's not such a thing as too many emails, but there is absolutely such a thing as too many emails that have no value to your customers.
Right.
If you can create great content that people love, you can send 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And I'm serious about that. And so for your listeners, here's what I want to suggest. As somebody who cares about your success, I would much rather see you send more emails and get unsubscribes than not send enough emails and not generate the sales that you should from your list. Mm-hmm. Unsubscribes are a fact of life. And, some people move away. Some people aren't into you. Some people don't want to get your emails. It's okay.
Some people are my mom, Bob. No, I'm kidding.
But this is a perfect example of Q-tip.
Yeah.
Susan and I, in the early days of email, she would look at the unsubscribes and she would go, "Oh, but I know this person."
Yep.
I did the same thing.
Me too.
Yeah, don't look at the unsubscribes.
You know what? Well, I'm going to reinforce your point, Bob. So now it will be my 3rd full year of emailing weekly. And prior to that, in the first 3 years of my store, my mindset was, oh, I don't have the time. Oh, I don't have the content. So I sent 1 email a month. And I generated no revenue, and I stared at my unsubscribed list, and I went blue in the face thinking, oh my God, they're all unsubscribing. And then finally I just thought, you know what? It is the holiday season. It was November 3 years ago. And I thought, it is the holiday season. The holiday season is the easiest time to come up with content. I'm going to do this weekly and I'm going to see how long I can send a weekly email. Well, 3 years later, here we are. The point I want to make to reinforce your point about how crucial email is to your business. The first year that I was sending a weekly email and I looked at the revenue that my emails generated, it was $25,000 into my business by sending a weekly email. Last year, after my second year of sending a weekly email, I generated $60,000 into my business. I cannot wait to look at the correct metric this year, which is not my unsubscribes, but the revenue that I'm generating. And I'm going to see, and we get first of all, we get people coming in every week saying, you talked about this in your email. And secondly, we get them saying, I saw it somewhere, and I'm thinking, you saw it. So, oh, that was an email I sent, but they're coming in to buy the things I'm talking about. I'm never sending those emails like, here, Bob, here is my product and please buy it from me because I sell stuff. That's not what my emails are about. It's a story about how I used it with Zane. Here was the benefit he got from it, or a customer that used something. It's always a story. I'm trying to give value, but I'm slipping in the products that I'm using in my own store that have created this value, and they're coming in and they're buying every week. So
I call it, oh, by the way. So, this thing did this thing and my dog is living happily ever after. Oh, by the way, this is what kept him alive.
Yes.
Right? By the way, this is what I used.
Yeah.
So no, and I want to piggyback on what you said. And Sherry, I'd love to hear what you have to say about what I have to say here.
Okay.
But this is why your email list, why having a loyalty program and doing everything in your power to get people to join, to give you their email address is so important. And the loyalty program is the best way to get people to give you their email address. So Carly, I'm just going to make up numbers, but let's just say you generated $60,000 off of 10,000 names. Well, when you build your list to 20,000 names, assuming that everything is equal, you're now going to generate $120,000.
Yeah.
So not only are you going to see increases in sales because your messaging is becoming more effective and you're becoming more skilled as an email marketer, but you're also going to see increased sales because you're sending it to more people, and a certain percentage of people reply, a certain percentage of people spend a certain amount of money. And so that's really, one more thing is that when you do that, you dramatically increase the lifetime value of a customer.
Mm-hmm.
The lifetime value of a customer is in my opinion, one of the most important metrics for any, local business. In your business, selling commodities, selling food, it is so incredibly important. And if you build the relationship and build loyalty, you get more transactions per year, which lead to more years, which leads to a higher lifetime value.
Yeah.
It's hard to get new customers. It's much, much easier to sell to the people who you already have as customers.
We do an annual survey with our customers every year, and we see it in every survey that they are talking about how much they like the emails. I try to implement that whole 80-20. I don't do a lot of, hey, we're having a big sale. Mostly it would be that we're having an event that has a sale as part of it. But the other thing from me doing at least 4 out of 5 emails as informational, educational, giving value, I then turn around and turn those emails into blogs. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Nice.
Probably shouldn't say that in the pet industry. I hit 2 nails on the head. But yeah, it's a customer email. It becomes part of my blog. So it's customer training. And then it also becomes staff training. So I'm like,
I love it. I absolutely love it. So just as an aside, I spoke at Super Zoo once and I was in the front and I said, well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
And oh my God. I was like, oh.
That went over like a lead balloon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know.
So, but let's see, as long as we're sort of talking about the deeper lessons in all of these things, think of your relationship with your customers as a bank account. And I think I've talked to you guys
Yeah.
about this. There's this idea of the emotional bank account. And so every time you send a good email, or you create a good YouTube video, or you do something of value, it's a deposit. And you can have big deposits and small deposits and all of those things. But I love the fact that you're being very, very aware of 80/20. But what I'm going to suggest to you, Carly, is that while 80/20 as a rule is the way to go, recognize when you're doing 80/20, you are building a big account. And so when you build that emotional bank account to a certain level, you earn the right to send a lot of promotional emails. If you do something good, you can send a lot of emails. For all of your listeners, or you guys, you subscribe to our, to all the things we do. We're very, very aware that we want great information. We want to build the relationships. We want to build that emotional bank account. But when we have a promotion, watch out. The emails are coming your way. But now here's what I wanted to say. So then we have a promotion. We have a promotion coming up in a few weeks here. The last call for the best deal, they get 3 emails in one day. So now it could be argued we're sending too many. So here's what I would say to you. So, you can't see it. They're not watching it as this is a video. So by the first email, you get some unsubscribe. Second email in one day, you get more unsubscribes. Third email, you'll get some more unsubscribes. Meanwhile, we're watching our sales skyrocket. That scarcity. And so we're just making a trade-off. It's a very, very logical. Yes, we're going to lose a couple of people from the list, but at the retail, with the retail mastery system at $2,500, it's worth it for us. And not only is it worth it for us as a business for the income, but somebody who's a casual reader of our newsletter and says, "Oh, these guys are sending me too many newsletters, too many emails." They're just not that into us.
And they're just not your tribe.
And that's okay.
They're just not our tribe. And even more importantly, the people who actually step up because we're sending all these emails and invest in the retail mastery system, now we have the opportunity to truly help them at a very deep level. So I guess what I'm sharing with you, Carly, is, if you've got something big and bold that you really need to make happen, don't be afraid to send more emails.
Well, okay, this is a good segue, Bob, because we're talking about bank accounts.
Wait a minute, Carly. You and I are doing all the talking.
I know.
Sherry has a question.
I'm
Sherry,
sorry.
go ahead.
Well, I know we're running low on time here, and
this is why I don't let her talk, Bob, because she's just going to cut us off.
It's hard to get a word in with both of you, actually.
I know. I'm feeling bad about it
that's
too,
okay.
Sherry.
No, I'm learning here too. It's fine.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask, because you talk to all kinds of retailers, not just pet industry, if you could predict a new holiday shopping trend, either this holiday season or in the next 3 years, maybe, what do you think the trend is? Where are the trends? What's happening?
The trend is that the world is becoming much, much, much more omni-experiential. And AI is going to inject itself into this whole experience. But when I say omni-experiential, it goes back to this whole idea. Oh, we forgot to talk about your holiday wish list. And the answer is yes. So omni-experiential is I see the wish list, I see it on the website. I get it as an email. I see a social about wish list with a link back to the website. But then there's always the ability to click and buy. There's always the ability to say, yes, I want this thing, but I want it the way that I want it. I want to buy online, pick up in the store. I want delivery. I want to pick it up in the store. I'm just looking at it and I'm going to come into the store for an in-store experience. So people talk about omni-channel, meaning many channels. I think omni-channel is a narrow definition. I like to think of it as omni-experiential. How are people experiencing your brand? And is your brand consistent across all of those channels? When they see your socials, do they say, oh, that's Odyssey Pet? And then they go to your website and they read your emails. Are they seeing and feeling the experience they get in your store across all of it? Now, what we're going to start to see really, really soon, you're already seeing it in bigger retailers, is that AI chatbots, chatbots are going to come in. If I go, onto your website, it's going to feel human, and it's going to be something like, tell me about your dog. How big is she? What does she like? And really doing all that questioning and listening that I talk about when I talk about the 6 steps to the perfect purchase as a selling strategy system. So
yeah, stay tuned for Pet Shop Girl's AI options, Bob.
Oh, there you go. All right. I mean, it's there. It's part of it. And but one more thing that I want to say about it. So that's part of the trend. The other part of the trend, which I like even more, is that it's going to be even more personal. So the world becomes more digital. AI assists that digital experience. But especially during the holidays, what people want is they want a genuine human experience. So this is why you train your people. This is why you focus on the experience. This is why you focus on being a good merchant. Because at the end of the day, I just did a thing on this with LinkedIn. You can't out Amazon. You can't out Walmart. You can't out PetSmart. You can't out Chewy. But none of them can out you. So people are looking for genuine, authentic experiences backed up by real human beings. This is important, who are really skilled retailers. You can care about dogs and cats all you want, but if they come into your store and you don't have your shit together as a business person, they're going to go someplace else. So the world's becoming more digital. We as local business people should become more personal.
Love it. Well said.
All right. Thank you.
Well, and now, Bob, we're getting into our lightning round, which are going to be our fun hacks. So
okay. We have to clarify. I have not been coached on these questions.
You have not been coached on these questions.
Didn't send any of these
like
questions
Sherry
over.
stumped me. Sherry stumped the chump. Let's see what we do here.
Okay, well, so what does Bob get? Like 30 seconds and he's got to give the answer?
That's what we gave Rodney.
Okay, so you get
right.
30 seconds, Bob, and you got to
Rodney
get.
got 30. I should get 35. He's smarter than me, isn't he? Who's Rodney, by the way?
Okay, you have to. You got to put yourself into pet retail.
Okay.
Even though we have other retails, we want this to help the pet.
There you go.
All right, Sherry, you starting or am I?
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
Okay, quickest way to add holiday magic to a store without spending money.
Cheap Hobby Lobby decorations.
Okay.
You can buy little styrofoam balls that look like and make snowmen. You can decorate your store and make it into a holiday winter wonderland for cheap. You just need to be a little creative.
I guess those of us here up in Canuckland will go to the dollar store. We don't have Hobby Lobbies here.
Even better, the dollar store.
Do you have Michael's?
We got Michael's, yeah, but it's expensive.
Okay. Yeah.
Expensive. Yeah. Okay. Best last minute add-on item every pet retailer should push at checkout.
In pet retail, cookies. I cannot believe how expensive dog cookies are. And they're decorated. I just look at it and I go, my dog does not care that this is decorated like a pumpkin. Meanwhile, I spend $3.99. So if you can, it should be a non-negotiable standard that every single person on your team asks every single customer how many cookies they want for their pet this holiday season.
Okay. Love it.
Excellent.
What's a holiday tradition you'd banish from retail forever?
She stole my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I thought you wanted that one because you highlighted it.
I highlighted the bet that I have with you.
Oh, okay. Well,
Ooh.
sorry. We already asked him. And now he has all this extra time thinking about
Yep,
it.
he has all this extra time.
You stumped the chumps.
Twice!
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to say 2.5 times, actually. 2.5 times.
I can't think of any retail holiday traditions that I don't like. You know,
Okay. Well,
if you're
retail
good,
aside then, just any holiday tradition, even if it's in your family then.
I love holidays.
Well, apparently we didn't interview the Grinch here, so okay. So at 3 a.m, we're both going to get a phone call from Bob. I've got it. Okay.
Can you splice this in?
I have typed down before we started this. I have typed down what I believe you will say. And I bet Sherry $5 that this is what I know what your response will be. Also, to take you off track for just a second, I'm going to get a box of Q-tips, and when my team is like freaking out, I'm just going to throw 2 Q-tips at them. Yeah.
Just throw it at them.
Or on the floor, you can do this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just going to throw Q-tips. Or I'm going to find a great big Q-tip for a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Bob. One phrase or script that staff can use that consistently boosts sales over the holidays.
Have you seen this?
Bob, you owe me $5.
She lost the bet. She thought you were going to say shopping for yourself, for a gift, or both.
Well, yes, I guess I assumed that people knew the choice key question and the assumptive key question. But, so the reason that I shared that is because the holidays, again, they go back to this whole show until they say no. If you've got an enthusiastic buyer, if you just keep saying, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Have you seen this? A good buyer, somebody who's in the spirit will say, yes. So good. Hey, there's one other thing, and I know we're running a little late, but can I share one more thing?
Of course you
Go
can.
ahead.
I think is really, really important is training your people to save the sale. Do you get a lot of returns during the holidays?
I wouldn't say that we have an excessive amount over the holidays, but
Okay.
I know exactly where you're going because I say this all the time.
Yeah. So if somebody has a return after the holidays, they didn't like for whatever reason, too many people just say, okay, would you like cash or credit? How would you like to have your money refunded?
Yeah.
And that's just the wrong thing. The fact that they're back there, you're opening up a sale again. Oh, you didn't like this toy? What didn't your dog like about this toy? Oh, he didn't like this? How about this? So you're always using every return as an opportunity to sell more stuff. And I call it saving the sale. And it's just one of those things to train your people on.
Because we didn't get it right the first time.
Yeah, that's exactly. It wasn't a perfect purchase.
Yeah,
it wasn't a perfect purchase.
Exactly. Okay, so as we wrap up here, Bob, I'm wondering what is going on with WhizBang? What is going on with you that you want to let our listeners know about?
Absolutely. So we just published a course on Brilliance. Again, retailbrilliance.com. Brilliance is our educational platform that's specifically for independent retailers. And we just posted a course called Holiday U. And it's in total, it's about 3 hours long. But, you've been talking about how do we get ahead of the holidays. I'll tell you what, if you make the investment in Holiday U and you spend the 3 hours going through it, I guarantee that you will get so many actionable items that you're going to be able to use this holiday season. It's going to pay for itself 50, 100 times over. So.
Perfect.
And there's one other course that I would love to recommend that's on Brilliance. I don't know, do very many pet people wrap?
Gifts or
like
music?
wrap presents?
Yeah, give gift wrapping in your store.
I wasn't sure if he meant like
gift wrapping in your store.
I think that they do.
I think.
Okay, because one of our Platinum Mastermind group members made a course, an inexpensive course. I think it's $97 on all things gift wrapping, how to set up the station, how to do it, how to schedule, when to schedule. So if you have people who are interested in gift wrapping, it's another great little education.
That's pretty cool. Nice little tidbit.
It is cool.
What about your book, Bob?
Yeah. What's up with the book?
I was waiting to hear about book
Oh
things.
my gosh. So the book. So I got the book done. It's 50,000 words. But the book needs a whole new set of, it needs a whole nother piece of work. So I gave the book to Susan, and when it was done, she said, Bob, it's well written. It's got a ton of ideas, but it's kind of an idea salad.
Oh.
And there's lots of my great ideas. And, I spent a lot of time. I got up at 6 o'clock every morning for months to build it. And so I just needed to take a break from it. So, but I'm going to, yes, anyway.
Okay, so now, Bob, you're going to take your idea salad and you're going to turn it into some storytelling spaghetti.
Well, there you go. No, 100%, 100%,
And
100%.
when it finally comes out, we'll have you back on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you have me back on before that.
Okay. Well, of course, but I was hoping it would be out.
Yeah. Well, so
Sooner
was
than
I.
later.
So was I.
Oh, well, but you know what? The good things take time. So that's all that's going to happen.
And it's interesting because this thing that I shared with you, this store owner's advantage, this framework of mindset, skill set, structure is really a book in and of itself too. And so one of the things that I'm thinking about is rather than taking all those disparate pieces, that is a framework that I could turn into a book. Because, you guys know, mindset starts everything. What's between your ears determines what you do, which will determine your outcome. Skills, you guys are all about building the skills. And then structure. I know that, Carly, you've got a training program. I think you do. But, structure are things like your training program, your open to buy, your marketing plan. But when you put all those three things together, really great stuff starts to happen. I look under the hood of a lot of retail businesses, a lot of really successful retail businesses, and all of the best merchants do all three of those things.
Bob, you need to start your own podcast called Under the Hood.
Ooh, I like it. Yes.
I'll make the logo.
So the podcast is right there with the book. It's in the planning stages.
Okay, well, see, I get that because every time we do a podcast, Sherry says we need to write a book. And
there you go. That's right.
All right, Bob, where can our listeners get a hold of you if they don't already know?
Yes. So you can, on LinkedIn, I'm Bob Negen, retail expert. You can go to Whizbang Training. There's an H in whizbangtraining.com. That's where you'll subscribe to our tip of the week. And you'll get, on Wednesdays, you'll get a text tip. On Sundays, you'll get a video of my Real Retail TV. And the other thing that I would encourage people to do is to join our Facebook group, Whizbang Retailers.
Yep. It is a great
It's a great
group. Yeah. So
thank you.
It is Whizbang with an H.
There you go. That's a good way to do it. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob, for spending so much time with us. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
It's like I said, it's my honor and it's my pleasure.
Awesome. Well, you'll be back again. You're becoming a regular on the show here.
All right. I love it.
All right, Pet Pros. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Pet Pro. That's it for this week.
Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe.
Just hit all the buttons.
And if you want more, join us in the Indie Insider, our private Facebook group for pet pros.
Then you'll never miss the podcast that makes you sit, stay, and beg for more. The Pet Shop Girls.
Pet Shop Girls.
Hey, Carly, so I was just talking to Art from Aardvark Pet Products about the advantages indie stores get when they white label.
Ooh, spill the tea.
Well,
hey, I could do that.
Hey, Art, what are you doing here?
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. All right. Here's the deal with our private label program. The independent retailer can take advantage of our low minimum order quantities, so you don't have to tie up your cash flow. Plus, we'll put your logo on a custom label for free. There's no setup costs. Also, we'll give you a free UPC, and our turnaround time is super fast.
Okay, well, that's a lot of savings right there.
Yep. And The part that makes me proud of what we're doing is we're helping independent stores build their own brand and make more money doing it.
I love that you have the independent pet store's success in mind. Your products have grown my chew department exponentially. Plus, customers love seeing our name on products. It makes them feel like they're supporting local in a real way.
And honestly, it's nice just to have something different than what the big box guys carry.
Exactly. We're here to help the independent retailers compete with big brands.
Check out everything at artvarkpet.com.
That's ARTVARK pet.com.
And don't forget, use promo code PetShopGirls for 10% off your first order.
Bye, Art.